I know what you're thinking. You know, it's been a weird week when it's came to news. Now I don't know when I'll upload this video. Probably a week or two after the news has came out, because I'm not in a rush for you guys to hear my thoughts, because your thoughts are more important than mine. You know, whatever you know. So don't. As you know, I'm not here to tell you what to think and whatnot. So you're better off just thinking about, or anybody on the YouTube, right? It's your opinion that matters the most. My opinion, well, the DCEU, and I've made videos about Ben Affleck and the DCU in general, loads of them in my videos. You know, it's buggered up. Let's be honest, everything's gone kablooey. Okay, we had all that talk about, the different universes, and one is a continuous line, one is going to follow some timeline and the other one isn't. And we've got the mix up between Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Will they be staying on? Then, so our feelings are up and it's low, and they had their chance to do some sort of timeline, but it was never really on their cards. Now, just recently we heard Kevin Smith talk about what he heard about the trilogy of Justice League, right? So, but before he came out with that, we all had our own ideas that these things existed, and and that Zack Snyder already had his plan. So it's not something new and stuff. And as I say, there's some ideas from Zack's vision for the movies I wasn't too happy about or too on board about, and I can see why they maybe hesitated about making it. But to be honest, they only got worried with BVS because they already told Zack they wanted that cinema edition that came out, and they didn't want the Ultimate Edition, and all of a sudden we got the Ultimate Edition. Kind of still weird that I'm still weirded out how the Ultimate Edition came out so soon. The sort of director's cut, and again, it's just Warner Brothers really chasing after the money and somehow admitting defeat for me, unless there was some sort of contract that Zack Snyder's Ultimate Edition was released later. It wouldn't matter if Batman v Superman cinema release was a hit or not. You would have got the Ultimate Edition. So I can only have fathomed that it was going to come out anyway. So if it was a hit, here's an extended version of it to get more money. And then if it was a failure, then the Ultimate Edition came out, and here you go. Here's a better way of looking at it. So it was like, it's just bizarre. And of course, when they were making the second, when they released the cinema edition, they thought, whoa, we've made a mistake here. They got ants in their pants. They jumped onto Zack Snyder's Justice League and went, okay, wait a minute, your darker version might not go in. But what people don't get is Zack Snyder and a lot of other directors, okay, good directors, take the time when they tell a story. They want to, explain who everybody is, but crowds, you, me, everybody, the viewers, right, they're too much wanting the now thing, right? Because they've had the Marvel universe, right, and they just want it just now. And then the studios, they wanted this sort of big money effect just now. They wanted Superman being Superman straight away. But they didn't want the build up to how he became a young fanboy from Kansas to a godlike superhero. They wanted a nice clean cut Batman that's you know, could be friendly with Superman straight away. That's what they wanted, and because they didn't get, they moaned. And now because people moaned, right, and caused studios, and I'm blaming, and I said this, I blame everyone, they jumped the gun. And they rushed it. You know, the studios rushed it because they wanted some sort of Marvel universe. The fans rushed it because they couldn't grab the concept of the story arc from Superman going on his journey. I mean, can you just imagine it? I mean, you'd have had people complaining about Man of Steel 2 and the lack of. You would have had Man of Steel, BVS, centred around Superman's death. Suicide Squad kind of had Superman's death in it. Then it would have went to Justice League again, maybe the resurrection and that. Then you would have had the other Justice League couple of movies. So Superman would have been in all of those movies, right? But now he sort of buggered it up because we were all wanting a straight fix. And Ben Affleck, he's seen the potential for the journey for his character. Right, he saw him coming back around, being the Batman that we all knew. So by the time we got to the end of BVS or the Justice League, we would have had all the heroes that we knew, and we would have been taken on an emotional journey with them. Right, they didn't just suddenly put on a pair of tights and then everybody accepted them. They actually, you know, and Batman came out of the shadows, you know, he's been a vigilante, he's been a thing of myth, and all of a sudden he's in the limelight now, he's with these big superheroes. That doesn't happen overnight. For him to change his ways, for him to be in a dark place, you know, being a tough vigilante that you get in Teen Titans. More on that when I finish seeing the last two episodes of Teen Titans. So please, if you ever want my review of the whole season of Teen Titans, I'll do one once I've seen the last two. But when you've got this dark Batman, you know, that somehow just sees the world in a dark place, and then Superman comes round. So Ben Affleck, he's seen that story arc. And the one thing that I didn't really like, but we all saw him biting the bullet in, for those people who read comics, Final Crisis, right? So Batman sacrifices himself, becomes ultimate hero, whatnot. But Ben Affleck saw the journey his character was going to take. So by rights, he, after Justice League probably went, nah, I'm not for this. Just sign me out. And Henry Cavill, he's desperate to make a decent Superman movie. Now I believe he's grew up reading Superman comics, and I believe, you know, he did say something about Joss Whedon and how he wanted to portray Superman that way, but that was rushed. That was rushed because people who are fans of Henry Cavill Superman, they get the journey that he was on. Right, and just coming back from the dead, he shouldn't just have been he while punching Steppenwolf. Okay, that wasn't cheery Superman. That was evil Superman. You know, so you needed that time to tell the story arc. So that's why the DCU timeline or the universe was always buggered from day one, because Zack Snyder had a story arc. And it was a shorter story arc than waiting a couple of years with the Marvel Universe, okay? That's taken too long. But with the DC story arc, Zack Snyder had a plan and they just poo-pooed it. Now what we have is we have an Aquaman film that's done well, chosen by Zack, right? And Zack's now helping with other DC movies. And we have a timeline that's now screwed because we were originally going to have... By this time we would have had a Cyborg movie, a Flash movie, and, you know, Green Lantern movie and stuff like that. So that's sort of out the window. Instead, now we have Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad 2 and Daft Director and and it's all going again around the Batman family. We've got Shazam, and we thought we were going to have Black Adam, but that's nowhere in sight. The Flash, then already we have a Wonder Woman 2 on the works, and Wonder Woman 3, and probably now an Aquaman 2. So everything that was ever planned is out of sync, and we've got movies that there wasn't sort of now being made. And it's just so timeline wise, DC universe, we've got to get it in our heads that that anything's possible. And not only that, we have the younger Batman, okay? And so what's my take on it? Well, what I would like it to happen is Ben Affleck, he's thanked people, and he can't wait, and here's the thing. Birds of Prey or something, was it Birds of Prey? We noticed that his name was on a nameplate. He was sitting at the table, so maybe he's doing a cameo. There's talks about Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck still got contracted to be in these movies. So maybe it's not as much as solo movies for Batman and Superman anytime soon. Maybe they will appear in these movies. Speaking of which, that means there is some sort of timeline, because then if Ben Affleck's Batman in this, and then this Matt Reeves Batman is talking about a younger Batman, so who's to say that the first movie or the second movie, if Matt Reeves makes a trilogy, say, who's to say that Ben Affleck won't appear in that as the older one? Or it could be even more crazy. Maybe this whole Batman trilogy has got nothing to do with the universe, and it's just a story that he wants to tell. But he's got the choice there. If he wants to include another hero as a wee cameo, right, that won't disrupt his storytelling, then he could put Ben Affleck in there and have him talk to Superman about what he did about 15 years ago or something like that. So that's possible. I mean, we all hang on, I know on my page I talk about, you've done well, Ben Affleck, and he's passing the torch or whatnot, but we just don't know. And it's bad for any YouTuber or any Facebook to say that's it over one paragraph or by somebody saying that. So as you and I I like to think we're all on the same boat. We're all thinking the same thing. That we don't know. We can listen to that bullshit or we can listen to that bullshit. And it's whatever bullshit we sort of would love it to be true, we'll more or less believe it and then stick by it. Those people who don't like Ben Affleck or didn't think he represented Batman, which we all sort of disagree with these people, okay? Because we get what interpretation of Batman Ben Affleck was playing. And go and read The Dark Knight, pal. Dark Knight Returns and all those ones where he really is a dick to Dick Grayson, okay? And he wants to, like Nightfall, when he decides he only wants to work alone and shoves everybody away. And okay, so anyway, we get onto this place where we're still contradicting the news, and we're still arguing against Warner Brothers because they're not telling us anything, right? We're still putting our hands up and saying Ben Affleck is still Batman, but we know that he's not playing Batman in the next Batman movie because he's younger, And let's face it, okay, we watched Aquaman. And there's been a couple of films now where the younger version of the character is done by a CGI face. Okay, that father of Aquaman, for instance, okay, the first hour or so with him being a younger man, that's just, you could tell that was a CGI face. Okay, just taken to... what's wrong with makeup? Okay, yeah, we know the guy's a lot older, but a wee bit of makeup here and there will do a better job than CGI. Okay, it's like, bring us back to Shakespearean play. Okay, we don't really need to disguise the fact that an older man is playing a younger person, right? We don't need to really go to town on that. We get the gist. We get the gist of what you're trying to say. Mind you, thinking about the Golden Girls, you know, that was the youngest woman playing the granny. How good were those? Was that makeup? See, so it's possible with makeup. So yeah, it's, for me, there's nothing really to get excited about, really. I mean, we keep on harping on about what could have been, like the trilogy for Justice. We know we're not going to get that trilogy of Justice League that Kevin Smith had. Okay? God knows what we could get with the Snyder Cut. Right? What we could get would probably not be his vision, but something close to it. And that'll be just, that'll be well enough. Now, Patty Jenkins, she says she's definitely not one in a recent interview to do. She talked about a Justice League movie, and she came across she couldn't do one. It'll be too hard for her to do. Shows you the brilliance of Zack Snyder, who was willing to put Batman and Superman together. You know, you need to take time with these characters, so when it came to the big team up, you don't have to explain everything too much, right? But I think it can be done. You look at Lord of the Rings, the first one, and when that first originally came out, you didn't know who the characters were, but it took its time, and you got the gist of it. So it can be done. We just need a good screenwriter that gives each character a moment on the screen that explains who the character is. This, what we got, was just botched up. Was just a guy that attacked a film that was already done and just tore it apart and tore the music apart and everything else. But it is, and always will be, a time for DC fans to worry. You know, because a part of us wants this universe, but then as time goes by, we realise that there isn't much of a connected universe. What we're going to have, what, 2 or 3 people playing Batman and Superman? Well, if Ben Affleck, if he gets his own solo movie, how long are we talking about when he's in his 60s? Are we only going to get Batman as Ben Affleck as Batman in these wee cameo roles? You know, and that's it. And same as Superman. And you heard my thing about Superman and a Supergirl movie. These things aren't letting these people shine. You know, and maybe we should just close our minds to the idea that we should never ever get another Justice League movie. If DC is unwilling to let all these characters have a great solo movie to shine, like Aquaman did. That was his movie to shine. You know, Man of Steel did have one movie to shine, but again, it was going against fans that were stuck in their way, that wanted Superman nice, cheerful and bright, you know, and they moaned, and they just didn't have the patience to wait to find out what happened. And I believe Zack Snyder wanted to make a Man of Steel 2. I do believe that, until the mere mention of Batman. And you could say BVS was the second chapter to Man of Steel. You could say that. But again, he wanted to tell this big, greater story arc. He also, I think he planned to make a Flash movie or some other character more. But the good thing about him was he was wanting other directors to come on board to help push his vision along. But this is going off topic. This is going back onto Zack. So back onto the original one. Yeah, I mean, the DC Universe line screwed up. Batman, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, they could still be Batman and Superman, but there's just no sign of them being able to shine once more. You know, we need them to shine, and the only way they do that is by solo movies. But until we find out more, and we can, but as far as I can see it, this trilogy that Matt Reeves is working on, who calls for a younger Batman, maybe with Ben Affleck's influence on the story that he originally wrote with Deathstroke in mind. Maybe he's working with Matt Reeves. Maybe he's already thanked him and can't wait to see his contribution. Maybe, he has more of a say and maybe more of an appearance than we're led to believe. But again, this is all due to Warner Brothers unwilling to place their heart and their faith on the line and come out and tell people that this is what we're going to do, and even if one of them fails, we're still going to carry on and move on. But again, Warner Brothers isn't Disney. They don't have that amount of money to take those gambles. So maybe the best thing that we can all do is just go to these movies and support and give Warner Brothers the encouragement that they shouldn't actually need, because these are the best ever heroes in the world. It's DC. This is DC Vigilante. It's my truth. Hope it's yours. Catch you later.